Give it a few minutes to see if anybody is gonna join us. All right, now you can start now.
Okay,
Yeah, we're being recorded.
I would like to come to order. I have as attendees Ann Behrenkamp, Clark Calling, myself, and Susan. And that is a quorum.
That is.
Yeah, you had a chance to look at the minutes from the last meeting. Okay. Without reviewing them item by item, do we have any objections or additions?
No.
Okay. We have a motion to accept the minutes. So moved. Okay, second.
Second.
Okay. All right. Next item of business is to invite our guests who might want to comment. This is your chance. Do you want to draw a straw, the flip a coin? Or-
Who has to go first?
Yes.
You have to go first. Okay, good.
All right.
Yep.
Couple of things, you need to say your first and last name, your address, and you're supposed to try to keep it to 3 minutes or less.
Say all of those things and then 3 minutes.
Yes.
Okay, all right. I'm Kevin Brinkley. I'm the Giraffe House down the street at 235 South Elm Avenue. And so we've been there. How many years did I tell you now? Let's see, 6, I guess it's 2, almost 10 years. No, almost, about 8. So, when we first moved in, like, I think we've been there a month, and there was a fender bender right in front, like, oh, my backyard is big, so it really has never been a big problem. So my 2, I guess really 3 things. One, I would just love for there, and it's funny because I was like, oh, this meeting is on Tuesday and I'm gonna go. Well, on Saturday, I actually saw 2 people get pulled over. I'm like, oh my gosh, they must know we're having this meeting. Just, I don't know, more visibility. I mean, I know there's not any great place for a cop to sit, but even just on some of the side streets, just some presence to make people, I mean, I will pull out of my driveway, turning right, and the car will be at Swan, and all of a sudden, they are on my tail, and they, but, and so that's just one, just more presence and maybe a few more tickets. The second thing is, crosswalks, and really just crosswalks everywhere, but I think there used to be one, maybe at Cedar. And or Jackson, and now I can't remember. The road has been repaved so many times since we've been there, but just maybe another crosswalk at one of those locations. So I have 4 children at all the schools, and right now Hickson is my concern, and I know 2 years ago, or no, he's in 7th grade this year. So last year, 6th grade, I know it was a big thing with the school and the district when they had a crossing guard, and then I honest to goodness have not seen one, but that's also because maybe I'm not there at that right time. Last year, when I would have to drive to Clark, I would always see the crossing guard, but not just there. So my concern is when they're coming from South Elm and are going to turn right onto Big Bend, at like where Schnucks is, that crosswalk right there, even if it's not school hours, my kids and I bike and we run a lot. And I have almost been hit numerous times when I'm crossing, if I'm on the corner and I want to head north towards the gas station, and I've got the walking signal, and I've got people just come flying up from the interstate and just turn and don't look. So I printed out a picture. If we can't have a no right turn sign, and I know that doesn't also, because theoretically, if it's the walk signal, traffic is going north south, so it's not, but to even have some sort of signal that's not just a sign that says no turning right when the crosswalk is the, you know, you're supposed to walk. And also, and it doesn't have to be all the time, but just morning during arrival time for schools and dismissal, that 3 o'clock, the 8 to 9 o'clock hour, and the 3 to 4 o'clock or even 4:30. I mean, I'll see kids walking all the time. And I just, knowing me and how many times I feel like I've almost gotten hit because we walk up to the pool all summer. I mean, that is our, so just to have something more, and I don't know if it's something with the interstate and that's why they can't have a sign or just something there. So,
You're at 3 if
You're
you
at 3
wanna.
minutes.
yes, I'm done.
Okay.
There's my picture. Thank
Your
you.
timing is wonderful.
Those are my 3 things.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
May I add some to that to even some of that stuff? So target enforcement, the police department, we target Elm quite frequently.
Yeah.
We do write citations on there a ton of times, and I have personally sent out directives to the patrol division for targeted enforcement on that.
Okay.
So we will continue to do that as well. As far as your crosswalk, I know you mentioned more than one intersection, but we'll address Big Bend first. That is a St. Louis County controlled
Well, that's what I
intersection.
wondered if that wasn't a county.
And
thing.
we have no authority over the traffic lights and or anything for that intersection.
Is that
is-
just because it's Big Bend and Big Bend is
Yes.
county?
Yes,
What is the board then that we would go to for
Right.
that?
St. Louis counties,
St. Louis County Board of
their,
Transportation?
yeah, their traffic division. Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. I
So,
wondered
and
if
just so
I-
you know, and they're made way where there's anything on Big Bend, Lake Station, we don't have any
Okay.
control over that at all. Those are
I
county
wondered if
roadways,
that was the
along
case.
with Berry Road and a few others. So
Okay.
it's certain sections of Berry Road.
Okay.
So, but what was the other intersection you mentioned across
Well, either Cedar or Jackson,
Cedar and Jackson? Okay.
or both, or even, I mean, I'm
And-
trying
and
to think of a,
You want them to cross Elm, crosswalk to get across Elm?
yes.
Okay.
I guess there's just so many kids that really do walk home.
And adults.
And
Well,
so-
well, right, I mean, I run it all.
When we walk home, that's the way we both
Right.
cross, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Do we
I
have,
can go for it. Okay, my name is Cindy Olchak. I'm at 139 South Elm Avenue. We have lived there since 2005. So we are pre-stoplights and we're a big part of against the stoplights, which failed miserably, even though we were told we were heard, but I digress. And some of the thoughts that I had, you know, kind of echoing what you had. I'm willing to allow a police officer to sit in my driveway on Elm, happy to. If you can even do that, I will give up my driveway. Cause I even think just the presence, it could just be an empty car. I feel like people see it and immediately stop. I work from home, my office is in my home, and I do hear lots of screeching tires, lots of bumped cars at all hours of day and night. And not only just, you know, at rush hour times, but there's and I witness a lot of times people on their cell phone driving down the street.
this is, pardon me, this is at South Elm and Swan.
Yeah, I'm like five houses from Quan,
Okay,
so heading.
North.
towards.
Thank you, towards Swan, yes.
Wait, north, north is.
So I'm on the.
Yeah, you're north this way.
Am I on the north side?
You're on the west side.
Are we on the west
I'm on the
side?
south side. You're on the north. I'm-
South of Swan, north of Swan.
Yes,
Yeah.
directionally challenged. And so, one of my thought processes, and I've only seen it once, and it's a very small sign that has the double fine if you get pulled over. I would love those to be larger, like as big as the 25, I think, because they're quite small. And if they could be on every single, like, street sign, on every single sign. Right now, I think it's just at the one here that they're speeding by, they're not even seeing. And I think it's at the other end of Big Bend too, but I think those should be large, huge, large, and on every sign, with the 25 on it. With a flashing and a pointing that means you, type of situation. And then, you know, I have had a dog hit on Elm. So she's fine, but it was a speeding car and she was fine, but I not thankful that it was a dog, but it could have been a child just as easily. You know, we joke about, do we sit on our front step and like roll balls into the street to slow people down? But I suspect if that was the case, people would just keep standing in the way. So, and I know it's not residents. This is commuters. I have friends that live in Sunset Hills and work in Clayton, and this is their fare. So I know 99% of the people that are driving during rush hour are not residents of Elm or of Webster. They're people living,
Passing through.
they're passing through, they're passerbyers. And that's why I think if there's, I mean, our police are amazing, and I know they've got 10,000 other things to worry about besides speeders. But if we become known as the Rock Hill, like, can we pull that Rock Hill out of retirement and be known? I mean, we could stop a lot of that and maybe even raise some nice money for. So that's all I have.
Okay,
Very good. Comments on that? I'll follow up with a few things on that for you. First and foremost, we do not do traffic enforcement to generate revenue. Period. Secondly, yes, we can sit in private driveways when we have permission from a resident or owner to do that.
So how do we
Yeah.
give you permission? Is there like a form or we just?
No,
say,
it's just
hey,
one of those things, but we generally don't do it because we're sitting in driveways and people come out and yell at us for being parked in our driveways.
Oh, heck no.
So
Come on over.
we can do that.
Coffee.
Now she's bribing.
Yeah.
So what,
All the construction workers during all the construction.
give me your address again, 130.
She didn't say donuts, she said.
We're a healthier place.
We like granola bars and apples and stuff.
139.
I will take requests.
Right, and then as far as, actually, I'm going to send my public works department out tomorrow. I'm gonna send a memorandum to them to scour the Elm at corridor for double fine signs. Show me courts eliminated double fines in the state of Missouri. You cannot have double fine zones anymore. So that was eliminated through show me courts. So those signs need to be taken down.
I'm gonna hide them.
You think maybe it's just right in front of the fire department?
Yeah, I think
Right.
it's right here.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah,
And it could be gone now, but
it may be, we're gonna
used to
double
be
check
there.
and see if it's there, because I can't recall
I
seeing
don't
it
remember.
lately.
Can
Not
you
for
put
some
speed
time.
limit signs where they were?
they were
There's a
underneath.
regulation on that, and I'll check with my public works department on that, man, honestly, but there's regulations on how many speed limit signs you put up per distance of roadway. So,
I got some comments for you.
Okay, good.
I got your. I didn't know if we were.
So Cindy, are you,
Quick question to follow.
are you set? Are you? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go on.
I think I'm good.
Do we have, I can't remember if Public Works has a radar sign that we can deploy, like the radar speed?
Yeah, this.
Yeah. One of my.
they do not.
Okay,
We have our radar trailer, but Public Works does not have one.
okay.
So there is a radar trailer available.
Oh, yeah, we
for
have.
requests for.
Absolutely, and our request is long and generated. And it's generally in a place, depending on what we come up with here, we'll put it in certain places for a speed measurement thing for a roadway. But then we have other complaint areas that it sits out generally from a week to maybe 2-week time period for that to see what the speeds are on that roadway.
To get like collects data. as
Yeah,
well.
oh yeah, collects data, definitely.
Okay. Do we have another?
Can we fundraise for one of those?
My name's Ashley Mirams. For privacy reasons, I live near the intersection of East Glendale and South Elm. West Glendale, I'm sorry, and South Elm. Hickson is something I curse about on a daily basis. We refer, we just moved here 6 months ago, but I'm from St. Louis and familiar with Webster. My kids started referring to these as the mean streets of Webster Groves because it's not nice to walk down the streets. I walked my son the first week of school. He lived 3 houses away. I walked him to school with my dogs and went a crosswalk. And the man must have thought I was being entitled when I stopped. So he's inching to get in the crosswalk and he's inching toward me. So I throw him a glance. He rolls down his window to tell me not to look at him in that way and to look at his license plate because he was a veteran. And I screamed, I'm a veteran too. I was just stood there and I was just like, am I like, am I in the wrong? And I'm like, my son's upset and I'm upset. There's no crossing guards, there's many crosswalks. But I can tell you that my mental health is definitely impacted as a veteran when there are 2 police officers at Ambrose and Elm, and they're directing traffic when they should be. And when there's one slightly diminished, but when there are 0 and there for weeks at a time, no police in there. I am like in tears driving my son to school, and it's not safe for him to walk 3 houses. You know, like it's just, sorry. I mean, to the point where like I've had meetings with other moms in the gas station and we're both like, really? It's like we're both having the same experience. So I know that part of it is parking lot, and part of it is Ambrose is just this awful cut through that turns into a parking lot that empties into a neighborhood. But I volunteer 20 hours a month to put together some sort of trail net, traffic calming, beautify the neighborhood measures. I have a 10-point plan. It includes the Elm corridor as well as side streets. And I will come up with a volunteer force to do some sort of pop-up presentation to study the traffic before and after and what impacts it has on the community, and you know, if we could make it a more permanent solution. Thank you.
Can I ask a quick question regarding some of that? And maybe, you know, I know that when I went to a million meetings with the district when they were moving Steger to Hickson. And that was one of my first concerns was, are they gonna put a stoplight at Ambrose and Elm? And I was told yes by the superintendent. And I said, because you cannot have.
I went to the facilities meeting on Thursday. Don't worry, it's the
There's that little bitty sign that says no left turn between 8 and
people
9.
turn all the time.
And if the policemen aren't there and the cones aren't up, people are still doing it because there's that crosswalk.
Yeah, and
too
it's just a mess.
there.
Yeah.
But I just wondered, is that ever still is that really a legitimate thing to ever have a stoplight there that is functioning during school hours during, you know, to not let people or to let people turn left?
So I don't have a
No.
definitive answer on that for you. I can look into that one. However, my understanding was that a stoplight right there at Ambrose Way was too close to the Department of Transportation stoplights of the interstate.
That's what I wondered if it was.
And so there was an issue with that, because that intersection is
Include a stoplight.
but that intersection there is controlled by, so the I-44 and Elm, that is Department of Transportation for the state of Missouri controls that intersection.
We have too many other people been up in our
So,
business, right?
Yes, so, I wish I had a better answer for you, but,
Okay.
at this time I do not. And as far as that, I feel your passion and apologize for that. We as the police department, we are doing our best, with our current manpower allocations and available officers to conduct traffic and try to do that. One of the issues of we do crossing guards with the school district, and we pay for, the city funds some of those.
And the city is trying to hire one right now. The school
Correct.
district is, I
Correct.
saw the listing. I'm not
So,
completely uninformed.
Well, understand it, and so we're trying.
And
It's,
it's not, this is not directed at the police.
Understood that,
I
yeah.
completely understand. I have a solution that takes those man hours and you guys can do whatever you want with them and we can sort that intersection right on out. with it.
So these suggestions that you're mentioning, have you provided them in some?
No, I'm going to though. I
Okay.
just wanted to come and say my piece. I have a letter written up to y'all. But you know, I wanted to show face instead of being a complaining letter writing person.
sure.
Yeah, no,
But I
That's what
will.
we're here for.
I have it all written and we'll definitely start the email.
yeah, do you want to send it by email? Do you want?
I can do that.
I think that's how.
You would send that to
the
me,
Sure.
Captain Greg Perks, if you guys didn't know, for the PD. And then I would disseminate that to the Traffic Advisory Commission, and then we'd put it on an agenda, and then that would start the process.
I would love that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it.
And one other follow-up, you mentioned sidewalks, and I forgot to mention that when you were talking about that, sidewalks. I can tell you that Public Works is working on a long-term issue of the Elm corridor with sidewalks. But
South
that
Elm.
South Elm
Yeah.
from Glendale to Watson Road and all the above, but it is obviously a big capital undertaking to do that. But it is in the works. But where at, I don't know. That's not my.
Something to look into.
And one other thing that the commission is really interested in the Complete Streets program for all of Webster, and we are working with the Sustainability Commission and the council to sort of move that forward.
Okay.
It doesn't happen fast, but we're all interested in trying to move that needle forward.
So one of my ideas, and I've looked at the 40 acres master plan. And I'd like for the school district to get on board with that vision. But there's 3 different options for that area, and one of them is like a quiet street, like a carless street, Ambrose. And maybe from stop sign to parking lot and having that inner, you can come in, you can do the loop to Hickson and you can go out, but there's no cutting through and there's no, if you have to use East Glendale or around there. So one of my ideas for like the TrailNet type of pop-up would be using chicanes and like some beautifying, like there's ways you can make elm so it's not a straight shot and you can kind of using beautifying.
Cedar around about,
Like they have on the street, what's that?
yes. Yes.
Yeah. Over the railroad track and they have.
Yeah.
Also, like doing a pop-up where it's like a community type of day where there's, I know, for example, a fire truck where kids can like set the lights off or something, and just having people be able to reclaim that space for a day and seeing what that feels like for the community, and to just create that. It doesn't have to be a street, it can still be a, something else. Anyway. Great way.
Okay, thank you. Sir?
Town Ward 216 North Elm. Elm was a hot topic tonight. So I've been here for the past several meetings for trying to get 4 lanes reduced to 2 or 3.
It's on the agenda tonight.
Great.
Thank you. Ma'am?
My name is Patty Cordes and I live at 11849 Devonshire in De Pere. But I've either lived or owned on Elm since 1955. So I've seen a lot of changes over the years and I really came to listen. And I'm really thankful that you guys are taking action on this street. And I have appreciated the police over the years because they have listened to my comments on the phone when I've called. Dr. Flaherty, I think is who I've spoken with a number of times. I've written letters where I had like 12, 13 ideas on improvements. So I care a great deal about Elm, and I've never been so upset by a change as when the stoplight went in. I remember Elm when it stopped and did not go over to Kirkham. It was a dead end there, so you either went right or left on Lockwood. I remember the days when it was like Gray and Gore and Maple. There were no curbs, you just kind of pulled over. There were stop signs. When kids were getting out of school or going to school, there were stop signs at Cedar and Jackson and cross painted lines. The focus, I
So
felt
the
like.
stop signs, like if we go towards Mary Queen of Peace, like they have that stop, like
Where they would put
always
us,
up, or they were
No,
like turned when
at
it
Cedar,
wasn't.
they would put it up for the kids coming and going. I know there's a job opening for a cross guard at Cedar. It's 12 something an hour because I called about it, but nobody has really applied for it. So I guess, what is most concerning to me is the focus. Once the stoplight went in, it really ruined our neighborhood. And the focus became the commuters, not the residents and the people that pay the taxes and have kids going to school and riding bikes and trying to, live their lives on Elm. I also know that homeowners have spent hundreds of dollars on landscaping and half circle driveways to try to protect themselves from the noise and the traffic. And it's a really heartfelt issue for me. And so I'm really thankful that you guys are taking some steps to make changes. A couple of weeks ago, because I'm just, my aunt is my daughter. And so that's the house I grew up in. And I'm over there all the time and have, babysit, and so I try to get in and out of the driveway. You can only go one direction safely. With the exception that a couple weeks ago, the red light was blinking. And I pulled in and there was a sense of calm and peace.
It was heaven.
It
Yeah.
was.
Changed everything.
Because people naturally slow down. Because you've got a stop sign, and that's what I grew up with. I mean, we had stop signs. You had toddlers at Elm and Swan, without any concern about their safety because people were going slow. They were slowed down naturally. And, frankly, the decisions that I've seen made are not about us as residents. And I think we need to hopefully change that and make some decisions that are for us, that care about the neighborhood. And I did call and ask about the blinking light. I was thankful and I said, wow, are you starting this now, maybe? Because that one change slows people
And it was a
down.
glitch.
What'd you say?
It was a glitch. Wasn't done on purpose.
Well, it was done one other time, I noticed, and I mean, that one change, you all. Changes the sense of the neighborhood. You like, it's restored, you get it back again and people will let you out of the driveway. You can get out both ways because they're gonna stop anyway. And I mean, that's what I lived for so many years and it's a tragedy that stoplight, which was gonna be temporary,
Yes,
and
they're
then
supposed to be temporary and,
until Highway 40 was
Yeah.
finished.
Yeah,
and
we've
then-
heard.
yeah,
Okay,
we were told it would be gone
Right.
after 40 opened.
exactly.
And when I saw the pretty little light went in, I was like, oh, we're stuck with it.
Right, and so,
We got a fast one pulled on us.
yeah,
Big
Well,
time.
thank you for coming and expressing your concern. Okay. With it, if that's okay with you, we'd like to move on, okay? Okay. And you're free to stay and listen or whatever.
So the next pickup.
No, you guys can if you wanna go or stay.
so you're gonna discuss everything that we've talked about?
Well, we're gonna discuss what's on our agenda.
Okay,
All your comments have been captured and Captain Perks is gonna look into some of them and find out what's going on. And so we will address them, but not at this meeting,
okay.
okay?
We've also offered our driveway. I think for the last 5 years, maybe 4 years.
Address
161.
161.
South Lawn.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is, this is number 5, is to talk about this idea of a living action items list. So I think all of you have received a copy of this action item list. You remember that? All right. Ann and I have been working on this a bit, and I have created a flow chart to kind of show how this could work. Come on. So the idea, without spending too much time here, the idea is that immediately after each meeting, I would take the notes and put together an updated action items list. And that would go out in 2 forms. One form would go to Aaron and would be in a PDF format, which can't be changed. And that would be posted on our webpage on the Webster site. The other form would be in a Google's document form and would go to just our commission members. The commission members then can determine if they're responsible for one of the action items, would determine, do their, what they're doing, what they committed to, and would capture that information on this Google Docs and forward it on to me. Then right before the next meeting, I would gather everyone's comments and suggestions and additions, and I would update this list for the meeting. Then we have the meeting. Again, I capture all those action items, updates, and update it, and it would be it would essentially be updated every month.
Can I quit, maybe?
Yeah, please.
So we met and also met with Aaron to discuss how other groups use Google Doc, and it was really helpful to figure out what the police community engagement board does, and you had some actually really important remarks that we should get to the email thing too. But we're just hoping to get more done in between meetings. I think all of us feel that way, and so we had the action items idea already, and so this is just to make it live. So if we have a shared Google document, you can go in and update what you have or haven't done. You can sort of connect with our committee members in between and get things going more, so we can get more done.
Yeah, and if you're comfortable with Google Docs, as Ann is, I mean, it would be easy for you to go ahead and make your, to put your suggestions and input into this Google Docs thing, and then it would be available for the rest of us to look at. But if you're not comfortable with that, and quite honestly, I'm not feeling really comfortable with it, you can still write your comments on the version that you can print, and then just send that to me or email it to me, and I can still add it to compile it with the rest of the reports. So we're trying to make it possible for every skill level. So my question is this something that we as a commission agree we want to continue to do?
Yes.
And I would ask for a motion that we have support for doing this.
A motion, we adopt this workflow process. To use.
Second, okay, all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? No? Okay, thank you. So this is gonna be kind of our new way of doing business. Okay, next question. We are on to old business.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Should we talk about the email
Yeah, please do.
thing that Aaron brought up?
Yeah,
So Aaron, you probably know this as well. Aaron was remarking that we should all create Google accounts that are just for our traffic advisory committee emails, just for our work there. And I think that if we ever did get Sunshine Lawed, then they would be grabbing our email, not our personal email, but they'd be grabbing just the emails that are pertinent to this committee. So it protects our privacy, and it also kind of organizes things. And it also goes nicely along with using Google Docs, because I can help people create Gmail accounts if they don't know how, but it's very easy, and then it connects very swimmingly with the Google Drive.
so the
Sweet.
proposal is that anyone who doesn't already have a Google account
Yeah,
would create or
That's email.
create a Gmail account,
mhm,
and that way, and use it just for traffic advisory.
yeah,
commission. And that's not something we can enforce, but it's a recommendation.
I will tell you this on the sunshine law, though, even if you're using your current personal emails, they can't just sunshine your emails and get every email you send. All they can sunshine is the emails pertinent to the traffic advisory commission.
Right. But it doesn't mean that they can't, like, it's still always recommended to have content separate. Or
Highly recommended to have a separate email, particularly for business oriented stuff like this versus your personal email.
so if y'all want to do that, I'm gonna do like Barencamp TAC@Gmail,
Email, yeah,
and then start using that for the Google Docs and for all of our correspondence.
yes. And if you do go to that, then I would update our email chain and
Well, that'd be
have
good.
all the new emails
Yes.
and get rid of all of your personal emails on there and go that route.
Okay,
I have both. I have a work email, personal, a Gmail, and a work email.
That's what I was just gonna say.
I know.
You just keep them all three open every day. I already have two open every day all day long.
Gmail one is limited emails, but the other two are open all day long.
I might have my TAC pour into my regular Gmail to alert me when it's gotten something.
and when
Create
we,
a separate folder.
when we
Yeah,
confirm,
separate folder.
Create a separate folder for that.
Right.
when we confirm
Until we-
North Elm to just 2 lanes, we can expect. some-
You've been out of my.
Okay, old business, and I'm gonna work off the,
You're going to use that. Let me see if I can share the screen so Philip can see what we're doing. I don't even know how to do this.
Green for the phone.
Share screen. I want to go to this. I'm gonna do share.
Yeah.
Get rid of that.
No, but it looks like
Do
you're
it.
moving away, doesn't it? Straight, flat.
There we go.
okay,
Now. Let me see, Philip, can you see that? Are you with us still?
He's muted.
Yeah, I
There we go.
can see it. I can see
Okay.
it. Thank you.
There we go. Okay, yeah. All right, Chris, I got it up for you.
okay, so this is the first item, our action items list. And Captain Perks, you were gonna obtain some additional data? Or you did that?
Which one?
No.
The North Elm? No, I don't think so.
No?
I think you might have missed a meeting in the middle where we talked about it.
No, we did talk about it, but
So
the
it's
question
on-
was that there was some additional data that we wanted
On
to
South
find.
Elm,
But only, on South Elm, yes,
not on North.
but only if it was readily available, not
Okay,
go out
South-
and gather it.
South Elm between Lockwood and
Yes,
Big Bend.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
And
I think it ultimately ended up being between Cedar or
yes, we did
Cedar
talk about
and.
that.
Hold on.
Yes,
One.
Yeah, Swan and Cedar, I think is where they went to do the counts. To see how many people were leaving South Elm,
See if
like
it
turning
matched
right or left onto Lockwood versus traveling through.
Yeah.
down to Carver.
that's what I had, Swan, between Swan and Cedar, speed and
Okay.
counts.
Swan and Cedar. I did not have that information. I apologize.
Okay,
I will put that on my notes. Traffic count.
If only we had an action list.
Yeah.
I think we're getting there.
Now we do.
Traffic count.
okay,
I'm not sure that it. I don't know, personally, I don't know that it would change my opinion on this, I guess.
no,
I think it
proposal.
had to do more with South Elm.
Yeah.
I think
I
so.
think-
Because we were trying to see if it lined up, if there was the same amount of traffic basically,
right,
as we know that
that's right.
the North Elm, and I think Carrie said. It falls within that road diet numbers. but
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
I'm not gonna.
And let me look again to see, I know we conducted some traffic studies on South Elm. And we're talking down there at Glendale, correct? Is that the area we're talking about or?
No,
The board discussed requesting data, speed and volume collection for South Elm Avenue. I'm just reading from the minutes, north
that's
and south between Swan and Cedar. To
Okay,
compare to the volume and speed data already collected on North Elm
okay,
as a
Right.
comparison.
Right.
Between
yeah,
Swan and
Okay.
Cedar.
that's,
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Okay, hopefully that'll be available, you won't have to go gather it.
well, that's what, I know there's some South Elm stuff we've done, but because we conducted studies all over. Sometimes it's just you go pull the archives and pull the numbers back out versus. But I will check on that and make that happen again, so you at least can get the data.
Free or post toilet seat. So you gotta see how far along you go. In the archives.
When it was painted gold.
Right.
Item 2 on the list has to do with the parking, the on-street parking. And Steve Rozecki was going to,
Wait, did
Wait a
we?
second.
We haven't
Yeah.
done the item.
North Elm, we're still on North Elm,
oh, I'm sorry,
which is all this here.
Which is-
This is what you presented.
yes.
And that,
Oh,
did everybody have time
I'm
to get that
sorry.
out?
Oh, no,
Well,
that's
were you-
okay. I just.
Just sent it today.
I mainly was trying to get it in the hands of Captain Person Aaron so that it can be in our
Okay.
record. I didn't want to kill a bunch of trees, so.
Well, we can always do it electronically.
Yeah, exactly.
so.
So I was tasked with coming up with a way to forward a recommendation to city council that we had been presented with this request by the residents and that we had investigated it. And you can just read, and I said, we have determined that their request has merit. And that we are recommending to the city council that staff investigate a road diet conversion, basically. And we're saying staff because we understand there's an engineering study that's required and they would know how to pursue that, whether that's internal, external, whatever. But then, and I guess I should start with, I just did a memo in the absence of knowing exactly how this kind of thing would get forwarded on, and I thought that could be just straight and to the point.
And actually perfect on this, so because what would happen if you all decide to move forward with this one, then I would take this and forward this to my boss. And then they ultimately would end up in the hands of the city manager for review. And then potentially to the city council after that, put in a work session and steps. That's
Okay,
nothing.
That was gonna be my question was, what are the milestones along the way?
Yeah.
So it goes from you to.
To the chief, the chief then takes it to the city manager
City
for review,
manager.
and then the city manager reviews everything. And does that and whatever, and if I guess there's merit there, or if the decision is made to move that to the city council. That's something that city just can't handle on its own, then it would go to the council and the council would put it on a work session.
And from your perspective, what Carrie has prepared is appropriate for that?
Absolutely,
Okay.
yeah,
So
it's an 8-page document total with diagrams and ideas and everything, so.
if you want to scroll up, I guess, to the beginning of the bullets, I'll just say, I kind of summarized already what I said, in this, that it has merit, we're forwarding it to staff. I referred to it as the road diet, and then I just put a bunch of bulleted information about the volume data that we collected and the supporting documentation that's attached. I don't think there's anything new on there to this group. Except that at the bottom, I added the idea that we've already had a road diet here in Webster Groves. There's probably been more than the one I'm most aware of, but St. Louis County just did one on Big Bend. So just to, say this has been done here already in our city. And then in the attached documentation, I put the request as well as a couple, I don't think I shared this one at our last meeting, but this is another just what is a road diet?
Right.
And then the one that I did share that shows,
Go down to the actual
yeah, the
roadways.
10,000 ADT. And then I put some sketches in there, conceptual level sketches.
Not the scale.
Yeah, just to show like kind of how we think this could still work at the intersections, basically. It shows how that striping, if you scroll up a little bit, Captain Perks. Shows how that striping would kind of flare out to create the number of approaches that are there now.
Can you situate me?
Yes.
Yes.
Is this really our?
this is the bank.
This is
That's the
Lockwood
bank, that's where.
Oh,
and this is Elm.
And so
and we're
this-
on the Zoom, we're right
We're
there.
just sitting right here right now. Yeah, we're in this room
Are you
right.
gonna see up my big circle?
Yes.
Yeah,
The
so.
big circle showing kind of where the new curb line would be.
Oh,
Yeah.
curb line.
Yeah,
Oh,
because then you
okay.
squeeze the throat of that so that
Yeah.
there's less traffic coming in.
Okay, right.
We were wondering what that was.
Yeah, and I guess I could call that out, but staff, when they see that, should probably
Should
know
understand.
what it is, yeah.
You think, I'm sorry. Carrie, do you think there would be value in pointing out that 90% of this could be done with striping and we could test it to see how it would go versus doing all the curb work and all that kind of stuff only to find out that people objected to it?
Right,
So I would say that would 4 steps past you guys. That would wait until we had engineers do their studies and all that, and then look at it and see what is feasible as far as capital expenditures go and what can we do now versus putting something out 4 to 5 years from now to do this kind of roadway
I see.
reconstruction type
Okay.
thing. If you understand what I'm saying.
something, you could work with TrailNet potentially on like a demonstration type project.
Yes.
They come out and put cones up for
There you go.
a week or
That's
so.
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Actually have like a lending library as well, so the cost of a pop-up is really not that.
They
much.
do. My only fear is, I don't know that they'd have enough of a lending library for this is a long segment, so.
And it's impossible to just,
Yeah.
a pop-up here and a pop-up, it doesn't have to be like a whole.
Right, I mean, we could add that as a bullet point, say,
If there's value, I think we should, but if not.
we think there could be potential for this to just be the city to do a trial run.
trial.
Mhm. That could be a bullet point. They can take or leave that
Right.
suggestion.
Right.
Put it on there. Yeah.
Well, I think for most people, the first time you think about it, it's a little
Oh, yeah.
huge. So maybe the idea that it could be trialed would put people at ease a bit.
Mm-hmm. Same thing at this end, you know, obviously, and I didn't say this, but this Big Bend, St. Louis County maintains this signal that's
Yeah.
there, so we would need to mesh in and not impact the lanes. But you know, we could do that with a right turn only lane. At that end, or however, you know, the city obviously will decide how they want to do it. The same thing there, where we just flare out to the right number of approaches, but I'm talking about in the southbound direction. We could potentially make that a right turn only lane.
Right.
And that sort of oval again is another curb line.
Curb line here.
Yeah. So, again, these are just sketches, but I guess I wanted the council to see.
Yeah.
Kind of our train of thought that it does have merit, the idea could work.
That's helpful to see it.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
sure that a lot of the people in the council aren't roadway.
So the question on the table for tonight is, do we want to move this off to the next step? A motion?
Is there any drawback to moving it on? Do we need to discuss anymore?
I don't think so. I think. Get it.
I mean, ultimately, what could happen is the city manager and or the council could come back to it and say, we want more.
Sure.
More information.
Sure.
Well, and the bottom line of the first page says, we're happy to discuss this further or provide any additional information. Oh, a little further up, right there.
Yeah.
We'd be happy to participate in any additional discussion or investigation supporting the recommendation.
I motion to move it on up.
Second. All in favor?
I'm
Okay,
adding that extra bullet though, right now that,
okay,
you know, this could be potential.
Okay, so for the official record, then, would you resend that out with the added bullet to me?
Yes.
And then I will disseminate it, and then I will get Aaron an updated copy with that added bullet, so it can be added to the minutes and that, and then that'll be the one we'll bring up.
We'll send it tonight, yep.
this is exciting. I'm.
I know, I'm waiting to
This is
see how
happening.
this happens, yeah, where
Yes.
this goes.
I have one question.
Yes,
I'm-
sir.
I'm really excited too.
No.
What are they doing at Elm and Kirkham right now? And they've got,
Oh, I can answer
Go over on
that.
the side.
I can answer that because I walk up and down there all the time. I stop the guys who are doing the work and I ask them, what are you guys doing? They're putting in an 8-inch water main
There we go.
under the intersection.
They're just
Yeah.
continuing what they did all along. Oh my
But
gosh.
think about that, an 8-inch pipe. And that's 500, or that's 100 yards or more.
Yeah.
And they're going under, holy, what are they gonna run into?
Are we all good if I stop sharing the screen here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that was a little side.
Look at this expertise. He's got all the info.
I know, that's awesome. Insider information. We noticed if you're near Southwest Park, there are stacks of that pipe, so they must be getting ready to put it under Rock Hill.
You walk down Kirkham towards Marshall ever,
Toward Marshall.
about the most scary walk in
Oh.
town.
Philip has his hand up, oh, sorry.
Oh, does it?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Captain Perks, can you just repeat that sort of chain of elevation of where this is going from you to your superior to, if you could just repeat that one more time for me so I could make sure I understood that.
Well, the recommendations, it'll go from me to my boss, the chief of police. And then when he has a meeting with the city manager, it'll go to the city manager's desk for review. And then from there, it would go to the council for a work session. And on up from there, or and then maybe back down to the TAC or to Public Works for studies or something along those lines. So it's just a few steps in the process.
Thank you.
Marshall Place.
Thanks, Philip.
Oh,
Okay. Are we ready to move on? Yes. So, and by the way, I'm conscious that we only have about 5 minutes left, so we can see if we can get through some of these. So Steve Rosicki is not here, so we don't have the benefit of his second draft to talk about, so we'll table that one until the next meeting. The next one has to do with the sign that, on South Park and Lilac. And the question was, do we know that that was completed, or how would we know if it was
So
completed?
the easiest way, I noticed that is one of your business items on old business. How do you get notified of this,
Right,
that have been implemented, changes that are made?
right.
And basically, that would just be simply from me, once we follow up with Public Works. And get an email from our Public Works Department that the signage has been changed or implemented or whatnot, and I could just let you know that.
Okay,
It's a simple.
but right now, we're still, we don't know yet.
On which one?
So this is the,
That has been done.
oh, you know that.
Yes.
Okay,
He's
so
on
that
the
one is
list.
complete. We'll take that off the list. Thank you.
Yes.
The next one had to do with this proposed stop sign on South Rock Hill. I spoke with the fellow who, Ron Zager, a friend of mine, and I just called him up and told him that you guys had looked at it and that it wasn't warranted. And he grudgingly said, okay.
Yes, you're talking on the South Rock
Yeah.
Hill. Yes, and I did have Public Works go out there and do a study on that and determine the
Yeah.
site distance and stuff as well.
Right.
Did you ever, you were going to look in, and I'm sorry, because this one popped back into my head when we were looking at speeds. We were gonna see if we could, if we ever got, because we only got the volumes and speeds for Rock Hill Road, and we were gonna see if they had Dobbin too.
I did send that out.
You
I
did?
believe I did.
Oh,
The Dobbin data, because I did get that from Public Works.
okay. I will double check for that, because I went back and looked after looking at North.
And let me
Elm.
double check because I know I got it.
Okay,
Okay,
Maybe I failed to send it out.
I just want to point out that
I mean,
so after looking back at this, making a point of looking back at the speed data for Rock Hill, I realized that the 44%, anyway, the speeds are really high. And according to our stop sign guidance, that then means that the volume requirements for stop signs are 50% of what they are listed at. Long story short, 7 out of the 8 hours of Rock Hill by itself meet the criteria. I'm not sure that Dobbin would, but we haven't seen Dobbin, so I feel like I don't want to make any resident feel like they're getting less of our investigation than any other.
okay.
So,
I do have it.
yeah, you do have it? Awesome. And then maybe I apologize if I missed it, but
Let me see. Yes,
So this is Dobbin.
yes,
yes,
this is Dobbin volume data.
okay. If you send it, I'll
Now, that was,
I'll-
hold on, that was way back on October 19th. I got that.
compare it.
If you have it, I'll just put it in the,
Well, I have it on my phone and so bear with me.
oh, okay.
I don't think I can pull up my email.
Oh,
from you
all
guys
right.
Here on my phone. I can tell you the numbers off of that.
Well, we have to look at 8 hourly,
Yeah, and 8 hours there weren't.
Yeah.
And I remember, and.
so we don't need at least 50 vehicles in
Right.
8 hours,
Send
in
that
each
out.
of 8 hours.
And that's what it is, and there is not.
Okay, well, then
Uh,
that answers that question. I just wanted to make sure we did our due
No,
diligence.
okay.
Yeah, and I'm
glad you
looking
said
at it. Here it is right here, Terry. If you just look at my phone real quick, this is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and maybe 4 times and through the entire day, do you go over 50 cars?
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, it's just, the data's not there. And I'll send that back out, Dobbin data.
That's awesome.
Say that 3 times.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
Dobbin data?
Dobbin data.
Okay.
I'll double check to see if I did send that out, but I thought I did.
Okay. Yeah, there's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 where we go over 50 vehicles, but not 8. And they would have to be the 8 that line up with the same
They
8.
made on that, and then they're spread out for the entire 24-hour period.
Yeah.
This is- Yeah. Dobbin doesn't have the traffic.
So not quite, but we can let Mr. I just lost his name. Mr. Zager know though that, I mean, we did look into it in the.
He's next door, I can go get.
Yeah, he was at that meeting.
I
He stopped
yeah.
in here really.
I think it's something that we revisit every few years if traffic seems to be going up or something, because they are kind of on, they're approaching that, those
Yeah.
limits that the city has set. So,
Okay,
and I feel better now. I feel like we gave him his full,
Yes,
you got his,
yeah, we did our due
His
diligence,
money's
due
worth.
diligence, thank you. Yeah.
Okay, the very last item,
It's been a
has-
day.
the last item, number 5, has to do with the bigger traffic quieting issue. And Clark, I know you have been in touch with the gal from the sustainability.
Yeah, and it's actually, it's on the mayor's, the mayor's putting together this meeting
Okay,
with both liaisons, so with David Franklin and Pam Bliss, both council liaisons and our subcommittees
terrific.
in the first quarter of this year, so it's
Okay.
in the mayor's. She's working on the format, she said, and we'll be putting that together, so. Good visibility, I think,
Yeah,
with and interest.
so sometime, I guess you'll let us know when,
Yeah,
I mean, I assume that it'll be open and we could, those of us who are interested could attend, but,
I think, yeah.
Oh, thanks.
I don't see
Okay.
why not.
okay. Thank you.
Yep.
That is all the old business. Captain Perks, do you have anything new?
I do not.
Find out about that littering.
We'll have new business when,
Tomorrow.
when your email comes through.
Yeah, there you go. I have nothing to add. Go ahead.
October 24th.
Did?
I
I'm
sent it.
so sorry.
Found it.
I found it.
Go to the-
I was like, we had to save that data. Watch this.
Hey, up in,
Yep,
Uh-huh.
sorry, Ian.
Davin data.
Yep, October 24th, I sent it.
Data.
Data, data, yeah. Oh my gosh, look, it's, I had never
Never open it. It's all black. It's bold black. Okay.
there.
There we go.
Hey, it's in your junk file.
I have admitted
It's
that.
dark.
I am-
Did you just start?
I know, it was
It was
starting
even
to go back and
starred,
look at,
and-
yeah. So.
I have nothing.
I feel so much better.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Quick question.
Yes.
So the first action items agenda, will you share that via doc with us soon so we can?
I will, tomorrow morning, I will update it.
Uh-huh.
And then I will send the PDF to Aaron,
Mhm.
and I'll send the Google Doc out to us, all
Okay.
all of us.
Send it out to me as well, and I'll.
Yes,
my
yes.
Web through one, that way I have
Yep.
access, if we ever have to reference it back or anything, I can get access to it as well.
The idea here is that Aaron will always have the most, the kind of the record. Okay, of what we did.
Aaron's like,
Well, I mean, so that if you ever wanted to go back and see what did we decide last September, you could
Yeah.
always go back and look at it. So it,
Right.
but the document that's in Google Docs will be a living document.
It's a living
It will be
document.
Ever changing.
Yep.
So several items this week will be gone because we resolved them,
Sort of.
Agreed.
right? Okay,
Oh,
yes.
y'all are gonna kill me. One last thing. Do you drafters of our mission statement that's gorgeous want to have Miss Jessica Sparks? I think that. Lady who does-
Starkey?
That's what I was going for.
Jennifer Stark.
Yeah.
Close.
I was so close. I was so close.
Good start, so.
Jessica Starks, she's. Starks. No, okay, we were gonna maybe have her put on our TAC webpage our mission statement, because it's beautiful, and some of the other committees or commissions have really nice little websites on the city government pages, and ours is lacking.
So is that a question? or-
We were gonna ask you what you thought, because you guys were the co-drafters of the mission statement.
I really didn't.
Yeah, I like it. Put it on.
It got
Okay.
adopted, correct? Or-
It did.
I think we agreed to it.
Yeah,
it is.
And then we can post it up there. That's just, we can just send this to Jenny and have her put it on there.
We have so many
The-
bullets.
Yeah.
what were-
Mission statement?
yeah.
Actually, I might
Yeah.
have split it.
Specifically mentioned North Elm, because that would be great.
Yeah.
On the, and posted on the, now, as I understand it, we have a page.
Mhm.
that
Well,
is-
it's like, it's within the city's website, they're in the,
No, I know.
the commissions, it's just basically a one-page thing that you can put. We can have
Okay.
Jenny put information.
What we
on.
do.
Okay.
Some of them are inspiring, like some of them are like architectural review board,
Well-
and we need something on ours, because
Do we need to
People are
get
more
more?
inspired by
in-
architecture and traffic, I think.
Yeah.
Story of my life.
So is there something more we need to do, or can
No, I
you
can
take
send it
that
to
and go
Jenny.
with it?
I can send it to Jenny and.
the final draft of it.
Yeah, I don't know I don't know what her timeline's like, I'm getting those up, but I can't imagine that's, months, I would imagine it's quickly-ish.
Speaking of timelines, will we get an email after this meeting to set up the next meeting, or is that still on our agenda?
Oh, that's a great point. When would we want to meet next? And Carrie, I'm going to be gone the month of February.
Wow.
So if you make it mid-February, I won't be here. If you make it 1st of March. I'm just saying.
Well, 4 weeks from today is the President's Day, so we won't be doing it then, I assume. And then the next Monday is the 27th.
Okay.
I don't have a strong feeling. I don't know.
I can look at, if you guys want to push it to back to the 6th or 13th of March, I can look at those 2 dates and let you know if the room's available. Because we do have to schedule them out, and it's,
Yeah, I think 6 would be great. Even the 13th is probably okay, but then after that, we're into spring break.
right.
Yeah.
I'll look at March 6th and 13th.
Yeah, we
And I'll
need
send
to have
emails
Chris
tomorrow.
here, because what if there's more questions about like what's going on at Elm and Kirkham? Random questions.
That's quite a line.
Okay.
Okay, Carrie, as soon as you get
Wow.
that, send it to me and then I'll get that up.
I just said
We're gonna have a
it.
battle of the north.
And I have an email. And not from the 24th of October. I got it.
Before we
Okay.
adjourn,
So I cross.
is there anything else? So regarding the people, we had quite a group of people here
Yes.
commenting today, and I think that's really great. But I didn't capture any of that for an agenda item, and I guess it wouldn't be an agenda item because you were going to do some background look at some of this stuff.
Correct. So what it'll be is when Aaron gets the minutes done, then you all can review that stuff. And if there is an agenda item that you want to put on the agenda,
For next time.
then you would craft that up and put it on the agenda for next time for official business. to-
Okay, but there won't be an action item.
Not yet.
Right, that's what I wanted to hear. Okay.
I missed this discussion.
So that was the one
You want to put that on Big Bad.
on Big Bend at Elm, but unfortunately that's a county intersection.
By the bagel shop.
The new
Oh.
big.
I saw a line.
Is it open?
Yeah, I saw a line a lot long. I
Did
used
you
to
have
get in
some?
there.
Is it good?
Is it
Very.
you? Was
Yeah.
it you?
Is it real?
Not somebody else?
We're gonna get.
Wow.
She was talking about
Mitigate.
crosswalk and no turn on red and I had to direct her to St. Louis.
I was gonna say, because you can make you can make the
Yep,
same
yes.
request to them,
Yep.
so, yeah, you can
Good,
get into there.
good.
And MoDOT too.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
And I directed him to that. It's-
Okay.
it's-
did you get to go to that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Want to adjourn before the.
May I,
Made a motion for adjournment and then we can do the.
Just to adjourn.
second? Okay, all in favor?
Hi.
Okay,
Very
thank you, everybody.
Thank
It's a little bit of a hodgepodge
Thanks, Phil.
tonight, but we got some.
Thank you.
I apologize.